latte.
Snap open a Busch latte and welcome.
Look
at the steam.
Froth.
Boys, they have
Wow,
Busch Ice up here in Canada.
Busch Ice. That's the high test stuff.
Busch Ice. Yeah. I'm going to have to give it a rip. I saw it at the liquor store yesterday. I didn't grab any yet, but I'm going to give her a rip.
I saw the picture you sent, and I was like, I didn't even know they made Busch Ice. That's a Canada thing. It must be.
I know.
Gotta be more.
Yeah, it's got to be.
8% or something.
They're used to that up there.
Yeah.
It's something new, something I didn't even know about. I was afraid if I got it, though, I wouldn't be able to finish this podcast. So you dive into the ice, you're playing a dangerous game.
We are. We're in studio. Jason and I are in studio. For those of you that are listening, Casey is in Canada again. Turn and burn. He's back up in Canada for the 2 weeks visiting and family and all the fun stuff up there.
Tell you what else is up here, Jay. Ducks.
Oh.
Really?
Potholes?
Right now, pothole ducks?
Oh my God, you should see the frickin' potholes right now. We drove by, Saskatchewan's duck capital of the world. It's like, don't quote me on this. I think it's accurate. They can fact check us while we're looking at this, but like 2/3 of North America's waterfowl population come from right here in Saskatchewan. It's really cool because when you pull out of the airport and you're driving, you see Ducks Unlimited conservation signs everywhere because it's the prairie pothole region. So there's potholes, and up here they call them sloughs. There's sloughs in every single field, and I mean, they're everywhere. They're just tiny little pockets of water. I mean, it might be, 50 feet by 50 feet, but they're absolutely everywhere. And every one of them right now, I mean, I drove by, I bet you driving down to where I'm at right now, I drove down this morning, I probably passed 750 sloughs, and every one of those sloughs had 100 ducks in it. I mean, it's just incredible. And then in the evening, you look out, and it's just nothing but wave after wave after wave of ducks. So it's pretty cool to see. It's just one of those things where, again, just Mother Nature, right? They're here for a reason. They got everything they need in these little potholes, and they're just here by the millions.
Yep.
And we've had some good shoots in Canada up there, haven't we?
We got to get up there again and hunt those potholes.
Yeah.
It's been, I don't know how many years. I hunted the Delta Marsh back in 2000, 2001. And it was, you could walk across the backs of ducks.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many, and that was the Delta Marsh. I've actually never hunted in Saskatchewan for waterfowl in my life. Oh. And you guys have, I know, back
Casey
in the day.
Casey and I one time, I forget what hunt we were going on, Casey, but we stopped and we were up there near Christopher Lake, near Carrie's old place. And we ended up, we grabbed, we weren't going to, what hunt were we going on, Case? Was that a moose hunt? What were we doing?
Casey's
we were going to film Dropped.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it was. We were doing the Saskatchewan Dropped, and we were prepping, and we stopped there, and we prepped for a couple days.
2017.
Exactly. And we ended up asking the farmer if he had any, because we just saw so many snow geese and stuff flying into these fields. We're like, do you got any decoys or shotguns? Because we didn't have any of that stuff with us to go on Dropped. And he's like, yeah. Brings over, what was it, like 5-10 decoys, Case, and like a random single shot, 4-10, and a 20 gauge. And we went and bought our tags and limited out. Yeah. Like, it was incredible. You remember that shoot?
Oh, yeah, dude. It's so silly up here. I was talking, last night, so my sister-in-law, Kim, and Jeremy live in Viscount, which is a little town about an hour outside of Saskatoon. So they live in Viscount. And Mickey, Jeremy's father, came over last night, and so I was talking to Mickey, and they farm 3,800 acres, and he basically was like, I mean, if you guys want a waterfowl hunt, it's here. So that's going to have to happen.
Done deal.
Got to do that.
Done deal. That's happening, because, I mean, we absolutely slayed them, and we didn't even have the right calls. I mean, I think we were yelling at them.
I remember seeing the
snow
decoys.
Snow goose. That's about when they came in.
Yeah. Like that Three Amigos scene. Look up here, look up here, look up here.
Look up here, look up here.
Yeah, look up
here. Chris and I were talking, too. I mean, we're all on the text chain. The amount of big deer that are on the 1900 farm stuff right now.
Yeah, that's exciting to talk about real quick. Let's talk about it. So we've got a new partner alert, we can officially say, which is 1900. 1900 feed. Mm-hmm. We've been working with these guys. I met Hallie Moore on a bear hunt, actually, about 2 years ago. I think, was that 2 years ago? Yeah. two
North Carolina.
North Carolina bear hunt. Just an incredibly salt of the earth, incredible. Him and his wife are amazing, and they have a farm down there in Texas, 1900. And then was introduced to Cade, who is their biologist, and we've talked a little bit about this before on the podcast. But we started really getting into the supplemental feed because in Ohio we can supplemental feed, right? And we've never done that before. But Casey and I have supplemental feed back through our guiding through all the stuff we've done with deer in the past, and so we're very, very familiar with the formulas. And so we've been working with them, and this is the first time that we've supplemental feed in the north with this feed in Ohio, and it started out really interesting. New feeders out, supplemental stuff, right? So a pellet. So deer are like, what's going on? Never seen it before. And it took a minute, right? And it took a minute for them to do it. But right now, I can say that they're eating about 1,800 pounds every 2 weeks. Yeah. I mean, they are absolutely crushing it. And what we're seeing from antler growth this early, I mean, I sent the picture around yesterday. How about the frame on that deer, Casey, that was sent yesterday?
Massive.
I mean, incredible.
It's insane. The number of pictures, and here's the other thing. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, though. The frequency with which they're coming to the feeders throughout the course of the day.
Yes.
You know, it's a lot of times when you start talking supplemental feed, you get like those kind of two big times. You get the early and the late one. These deer are coming back throughout the course of the day, which from a feed perspective tells me a couple things. One, the palatability is on point because they like the texture and the flavor. And two, the digestibility is on point because if they're coming to the feeders that frequently, that means they're able to digest the feed easily enough. And so that's a huge thing when it comes to nutrient absorption and adsorption and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's just what we're seeing on the cameras is crazy. I can't wait to get down there and kind of see it firsthand.
Yeah. Yeah. So break down palatability. You guys, you created a feed.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Talk about the deer internally, what they need this time of year, the different stomachs, all that stuff, because it's super interesting.
Yeah, so just to throw some background out there is a product on the market called Rack 1, and Rack 1 was built, Casey and I built that with a different system in mind for a deer's kind of life cycle, right? Yep. And Arcus and Tinks, they now own kind of Rack 1. We sold that off a long time ago, but that gave us kind of a background in that nutrition. And we had a controlled environment where we could test the pellets, we could test the feed, we understood where it was. We worked with deer in a very, very like intimate manner. And it was amazing to get to see what they could do. So basically, deer are ruminants, and so they have multiple stomachs. And there's a thing called TDN, which is total digestible nutrients. And the idea is some may call it what Casey bypass protein would be another kind of way to explain TDN. And essentially what that is once it goes into the first stomach, what is actually being put into the second stomach and what is not. So kind of like what is going to be absorbed in the body and then what's get put through. And sometimes when you got a shitty feed, 90% of it just gets shit out. Right. So nothing stays in the body. And so when you have these total digestible nutrients, what's really good is how much is staying in there. And they've got an over 80% rate of TDN, which is incredible because it's staying in their body and it's actually giving them the nutrients they need. And it's not just a bypass where it comes through, gets processed into the second stomach, and out it goes. So it's a real amazing science behind what stays in and what doesn't. So that's a decent breakdown, Casey, if you want to add to that on the TDN side.
Yeah, I think that's the most simplistic breakdown. Being a ruminant, that's why they chew their cud, right? So they go and they eat it the first time, and then they go lay down and they, basically essentially regurgitate it back up. They re-chew it, and then it goes back down and goes into a different part of the digestive system. And all of that has to do. We'll go down this rabbit hole eventually in some of the new habitat and herd management and deer management stuff that we're going to do. But essentially a lot of that comes down, and this is why I mentioned the frequency thing, because a lot of that comes down to proximity to feed as well. And so what I look at is as long as the deer have the proper cover from that food source, they'll go use and lay down in that proper cover to actually regurgitate, chew their cud and continue that digestive process. And then they'll go back and feed again. And so when I look at the frequency with which these deer are showing up, I tell myself, like, obviously the palatability, which is palatability is important from a flavor standpoint, from a texture standpoint. All of that stuff is on point. They're chewing it, they're eating it, they're going and laying down close by. In which when you start thinking about from a hunting side of things, you want them close to that food source. From a doe side of things, you want them close to the food source because it's less of a caloric burn when it comes to the lactation time of year. So they're actually passing on more nutrients to the fawns. So it's all kind of one big system, and we're going to do a deep dive eventually. But what we've been seeing so far from the TDN side, palatability side, digestive side, it's awesome.